Well, hi everyone. I am popping in with a special video this afternoon with a good friend of mine, colleague, mentor, Jo Englesson. And we're here today to talk about, what should we talk about? How about leveling up?
I like it. I like it. Very on point.
Very on point. And so just to kick us off, I want to give the everybody who's dropping by a little bit of context for this conversation. So in about 2 weeks, we're having our legendary 2-day Level Up Mastermind Conference, and Jo is going to be one of our guest speakers there. And I wanted her to come on today so we could have a conversation about what does leveling up mean? Is it something we just do once? Is it something we do over and over again? Is it only in our business? Is it in our health? Let's just talk about leveling up in general. How about that, Jo?
I think that is awesome. Well, first off, I just want to thank you for inviting me and for inviting me to this awesome event. I really look forward to connecting with your huge, beautiful community. I'm so excited to be part of it all and get myself plugged in with you guys. Leveling up, I think we're always leveling up, and I think we're never going to be done, unfortunately. Now the question is, it depends on where you intend, right, to level up. And I think that your event has certain areas, like here's some tools for you guys to level up. And my tool that I would like to share with your community is really like, okay, how do we actually alter the way that we think, the way that we feel, the way that we are, the way that we be, in order to become that level so that we can match what we want, right?
That is so good. And one of the things, and one of the main reasons I invited you to come and contribute to this event is I got to tell you, I'm tired of hearing the same challenges that, my business isn't growing. I don't have enough leads. I was going to do this. I don't have enough time. And like when that common challenge is repeated over and over again, there's something else going on.
Mhm.
And that's why at this particular Level Up workshop, yes, we're giving you practical strategies that you can apply to your business, but they've got to be able to land in a field that's receptive.
Yeah.
And that's the piece of the puzzle that you're going to add to the event.
Yeah, because people might want to build a house and you can give them a hammer, but like, how are they going to use the hammer, right? So, and who is the hammer user? Like, who's holding the hammer? And if you're not really super clear on what it is that you want, like your vision is so dialed in, and then you get this hammer, the gap is too big,
Yeah.
and so there's like when we talk about leveling up, we need to level up. Maybe we want to level up our bank account, right? Maybe we want to level up our relationship with our parents or our kids. But then the initial leveling up is going to come from us, and that's what's the most beautiful thing. And then having the tools then becomes like this garden of just beauty, because now you're like, okay, I know where I'm going. I'm clear. I got my emotional intelligence intact. I'm choosing this. I'm intending this, and I have these tools. And that's what's so amazing, Nancy, because I know that you give people so many tools.
Yes. And the key is to get the right tools at the right time as well.
Yes.
So as we're leveling up, people always say, "Oh, they were an overnight success." There's no such thing. Just don't believe it. You just didn't see all the pitfalls and the challenges and the rise to the top. You only got to see them when they were at the top, which it looks like an overnight success, right?
It's funny because I always say it took Madonna 10 years to become an overnight success. Like she
Yep,
was
I know.
literally in her car going to dives trying to sing for 10 years. And then we're like, oh, she's an overnight success.
Yeah. And then so we have to be ready. I guess the famous quote around that is when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, the teachers are there. We're the
Yeah.
ones that need to get ready for our next level of advancement. So, so it's so good, and I'm loving the way this kicked off. And I realized I've got some of my friends watching this right now who really don't know about you. So tell us a
Oh,
little
cool.
bit about Jo and the amazing community you've created, the token of appreciation. Like, let me tell you, my friends, this is a superstar taking the stage.
Well, that's a nice intro. Now I have to live into that. I have to live into superstardom. I like
You're
it.
already there, babe. You're already there.
Okay. Yeah. So yes. So I am Jo Englesson, and I used to run a company called the Gratitude Training in South Florida. We were also in other states. We had these transformational trainings, leadership programs all across the United States, actually, and they were all in person. And to date, there's over 20,000 people that have gone through the curriculum. And then COVID hit. And the way that we were set up with, buildings and big training rooms and all this kind of stuff, and having to close down overnight, was not really a good business model, right? So suddenly I'm sitting there with $200,000 in expenses every month and zero income. And I just knew that there was no way to quickly pivot and be able to carry that quote unquote burden and be able to recover. So I ended up having to close down the gratitude trainings and really kind of sit with everyone else in COVID that first year, home with kids from school and the whole gamut. And I ended up moving to Spain. And so I've been in Spain for 3 years, although I am in Tennessee right now. Been in Spain for 3 years and just really had some really good time and some hard times, just sitting back and going, okay, well, what is this all for? Like what's my purpose here? And the thing is, the one thing that never changed for me was my vision. And my vision is to create peace on the planet through joy and awakening and gratitude. Like that never, ever stop. Like that was there. I just knew that the way it was going to happen had suddenly completely changed. And it took, yeah, go ahead.
Pause a second, because we're hitting upon something really important, and that is when challenge happens, when difficulty occurs, when you start something off, you got a dream, you have a vision you want to create, and it feels really hard. You can sometimes question, am I supposed to do this? And what I'm hearing is you got very clear through your own process. Yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do. Just the vehicle or the way I go
Mhm.
about it has changed. And what I often teach, and as a matter of fact, when COVID hit on March 13th, I think is when everything happened in 2020. On March 16th or something like that, I immediately got into action and offered trainings and suggestions to guide our community to hold your vision and
Mhm.
shift your strategy.
Mhm.
That's it.
That's
We
it.
can have impact in different, we can still have our impact. It just may look different, but we got to be open to saying, okay, divine, universe, God, reveal to me what's the new path. And that's all it is, right? And you have
That's all
found
it
it.
is.
And
Yeah.
you found it.
And I found it and I live it and I breathe it. And so I started offering the trainings online. And that was a big challenge for me because the trainings that we provided were so experiential and so like, it was something about being in the room with like another 50, another 100 people and going through it together that I had to figure out how to make it as impactful online, without, making it weird online. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, everybody, let's hug, like it's different, right? And I feel like I spent a year doing that, and I feel like I nailed it into this one course, which is Rewired for Peace. It's a 6-week online course.
We're
And yeah.
listening to that, rewired for peace. And imagine everyone being rewired for peace. So when challenge happens, when relationship issues come up, when the client doesn't say yes, when you look out and read the news or see in the world there's so much turmoil, if we are rewired for peace, we get to be the change we want to see in the world.
That's it. That's it. And that's what's going to create peace on the
Yes.
planet, right? It comes from all those. We are so significant. We are so important, each and every one of us, because we're each that drop in the ocean. We could each make that ripple, right? And we can make a bad ripple too, right? When we start living in our lower capacity, right? Where we're just like,
We're always rippling. We're always rippling.
we're always rippling. Someone asked me to speak about impact one time, and the question isn't really like whether you're making an impact or not. We're all making an impact. The question is, what impact are you making, right?
Good. Yeah.
And so I'm clear that through and let's get real too here. Like the world is in a very interesting space right now, and especially people's conversations, our conversations are, and when I say conversations, I mean like our belief systems, our actions, all the stuff that we're just like, you know, whether it's on social media or whether it's in our families or whether it's at work or you're like pissed at your boss. There's like all this stuff going on, and this general division that is just getting like the division is just getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And my goal is to find that training that works for both sides, for all sides, for everyone, right? That it is that neutral, that we go back to, you know, gratitude. We go back to distinctions or philosophies or virtues that have been around forever, that are indisputable, right? So it's not like
as part of our human desire.
yes, exactly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's how we're going to be able to start being in community again with each other, you know. And that's how we're going to be able to get it in the water, to get people living from a love consciousness rather than a fear consciousness, and like really begin to create that abundance that we are. I mean, the world has enough resources for everyone to live abundantly, right? But we have decided that it's more important that Amazon delivers within 2 hours at my doorstep. It's more important, right? Like we're not seeing the bigger picture. And if we can see the bigger picture, then we can start making small choices every day that's going to impact the future, rather than choices every day that's going to impact our bottom line by that night, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And yes, you could have both. You could have both.
Because
right?
there is enough. There is enough.
There is enough.
Oh my goodness. So as you're listening in, aren't you thrilled she's going to be at Level Up? And what I want to say to all of you tuning in is that your voice, yours specific piece of the pie that contributes to this overall peace and healing in people's lives, in our families, in our communities, like we need you to step up now and bypass the challenge and the struggle that may have kept you back before. Because here's what I know. If you're watching this video, if you're part of Women's Prosperity Network community or just hanging on the fringes, it's time to go all in and know that you'll be supported, you'll be loved, and you'll be uplifted. I love the quote by John F. Kennedy that says, "A rising tide lifts all boats." So we want to level up this rising tide so that every single person can thrive and shine and be who you're meant to be in this world.
Yeah. And you offer all these, you know, Wow Wednesdays and all these amazing things, and that's like it's key for us to connect consistently with you know, what's important for us, and get reminded of the tools, and like kind of kick us into gear. Like it doesn't work. There is no like one and done thing. There is no like I'm going to take this one course and then I'm done and now I'm going to live. No, you're going to fall back into the what we call in our training, we call it the drift, right? We're going to fall back into that uncollective consciousness. And if we don't stay awake, you know, and to stay awake, you need to be plugged into communities.
I had that experience. So I went away. I traveled the world for 2 months during February and March of this year, and it was absolutely amazing. And I got to see, the pyramids and the Sphinx. And I was in 5 different places in Australia and in London and in Greece. Like I got to experience so much of the world and so many cultures. And during that time, I was disconnected from my community. I was disconnected from personal self-development, the courses and the daily journaling. And I just fell out of habit. I got into drifting around the world, which was wonderful. And I had to get myself realigned and reignited. And I see the difference for me when I stay continuously plugged in. And that is my preference. So I'll do another big trip. I just won't do it for quite as long. That's what I've decided. I'll do a month. I think I'll do a month and make sure that I somehow keep myself connected, because I need it for me to
Yeah.
be the best version in for myself, for my family, and for the world.
Yeah. And it's
Okay.
really subtle sometimes when we kind of slip
Yeah.
out of it. Maybe we didn't get enough sleep a couple of nights in a row, and maybe someone said something that we're kind of is lingering in us, and now we're not feeling so good. Like it slowly comes on, and the next thing you know, you're like yelling at your kids. You're like, what's going on here, right? And that's the thing. It's like watching yourself and being able to stop and choose what's going to be aligned with your vision and the bigger goal.
It's so good. I'm grateful that we're having this real part of the conversation, because this is what being this human experience is about. It's not all, rainbows and, lollipops.
No.
There's different levels, and it's how we can um, you know, be peace within that store, find our peace
Yeah.
within that. And that's what you bring to the table. So I'm so grateful for today's conversation and for having you at our Level Up
Me too.
in just a couple weeks.
I can't wait. I'm excited. And I think
Awesome.
I'm doing a Wow Wednesday with you at some point too. So that'll be exciting
You
too.
are. Yeah, I think I don't remember the
That's
date, but that's
further enough.
after. It's
Yeah.
it's a little down the road. So you'll all be seeing a lot of Joe, and we've got some great surprises in store when you come to Level Up, when you're part of this community. We got goodies for you. So grab your
Yes.
ticket to Level Up. You can go to the link that's somewhere around here on the video, on the side, up or down. I don't know where it'll end up being. Or just go to our website, womensprosperitynetwork.com, and you'll go to the events tab and see all the different ways we're here to bring our community together, to be that rising tide that lifts you as one of the many boats sailing to a beautiful future today and tomorrow. So there we go. Thank you, Joe.
Love
I
it.
appreciate you greatly.
Thank you so much.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Everyone,
Bye.
we'll see you next time.